Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. So today I was planning to do a repotting of my rubber plant and I thought I will make a video on it. It's the Ficus Elastica, which is also commonly called as the rubber plant. So I will be doing a repotting. Now all this while I was waiting to repot my rubber plant. One reason is because it had a new growth that was coming up. I will put up the image on the screen of how the new growth looked like. And then eventually it started to have the red caterpillar, and here we go, we have the new leaf over here. I don't know if it's very visible. So this is the new leaf that has opened up. So I was waiting for the new leaf to open up and then I thought I will go ahead and repot it. And the best thing is, inside this new leaf there was another leaf that was coming up, which was really exciting. So we have another leaf as well coming up, which indicates that the plant is in the best condition right now to repot, because it requires a little bit bigger pot, because I was using a old bottle as a container, and you can see a good amount of roots. Now I can still leave it in this pot. There is not much of an issue. The plant will still do quite well. It's not completely root bound, but then I thought I will give it a better pot, and also because the environment has become a little bit better. Probably a month back, the temperatures were not very high. They were around 33 degrees Celsius, but the humidity was very low. But now, because of the recent rains, the humidity has increased tremendously. There has been a huge fluctuation in the humidity, due to which the new leaf was taking a very long time during the summers, but as soon as it rained, it immediately released the new leaf, and then there is a second leaf coming up. So I think right now the temperature is quite good. The overall environment is very pleasant, and I think this is the best time. So I'll take the opportunity to go ahead and repot my ficus. Now the soil mix that I'm using over here is again the same thing that I use for all of my plants, which is a mix of coco peat, garden soil, sand and perlite. The white small little dots that you see are perlite. So I have made a very loose, porous, well draining soil mix. That's what they prefer. Now if you might see, there are no fertilizers in this as of now. It's always advisable to add fertilizers after a month of repotting. Do not add fertilizers immediately. There could be a damage to the plant. A lot of times the plants need some time to adjust in the new soil mix. So do not add fertilizers immediately. Wait for at least a month and a half. The plant will still do quite well. After the plant is completely acclimated and adjusted in the new soil, then you can go ahead and add fertilizers. Now it could be whether compost, vermicompost, any kind of organic fertilizer that you have been using. I personally go for liquid based fertilizer, because liquid fertilizer tends to get absorbed into the soil and by the plant much faster as compared to the solid fertilizers, because most of them are slow release fertilizers. I prefer to go with liquid based fertilizer, and that has been working out really well. If you might have seen, that is my compost tea that I tend to use as a liquid fertilizer for all of my plants. So now it is going to be a little bit of a difficult task to take out the ficus out of this container. It's good that I'm doing it right now, because otherwise if the roots would have become even more larger, it would have been very difficult to take out the plant from this container. So let me take out the wire first, because this was an hanging planter. I was using it as an hanging planter, so that's the reason why it has a wire. It's good that I'm doing the repotting right now, because otherwise it would have been so difficult to take out this plant out from the pot. So here we go. We were able to take out the entire plant without damaging any of the roots. The entire thing has come out, and now we are just going to put. Now guys, if you want, you can definitely trim the little portion of your roots, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I might probably just make it into a ball like this and just put it into the soil. I already have my pot. This is a 7-inch pot. It's already covered. The drain holes are covered. So I'm going to fill 1/4 of this pot with this soil mix. Just 1/4. And then we will just keep the plant. Now I have not disturbed any of the roots. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. I do not want to loosen the root ball, because I am very confident about my soil mix. It was my own soil mix, so I don't have to be worried that it is going to turn compact or there is going to be any problem with that. So it's little difficult to shoot a video and do repotting at the same time, because remember, this is coco peat, it has sand, it has perlite. So we have to fill it all the way till the brim, and we need to just release all the air pockets that are there, because otherwise what's going to happen is when we tend to water, the soil will start to get decreased even more in the pot. So it's always advisable to fill the soil till the brim, and then eventually the soil will start to settle down. Ideally you're supposed to leave like maybe few centimeters from the edge of the pot. Otherwise what happens when we tend to water, all the soil tends to flow out from the pot and it becomes very messy. Any which ways, I don't water from the pipe. I have these small bottles, so I water it from that, so it doesn't get messy. The soil does not kind of come out from the edges, because that is the most messiest part when you tend to water and all the water starts to come out. So now I'll use my hand and I'll just press against the soil to release all the air pockets. You can even do this to make the soil settle down. And now that we have pressed all of the soil, you can see I have left a little bit of edge, but I'm going to add some more soil on that, because eventually, as I said, when we are going to water, the level of the soil will decrease, because right now all of the soil mix that is there, it's not wet, and there are going to be a lot of pockets in between which we have to clear it off. There are air pockets in that, which when we tend to water, those air pockets tend to get released, and then there is enough space in the pot. So this is how it looks. The plant looks absolutely beautiful, very healthy. A good shine on the leaves. I haven't cleaned the leaves. I have to clean the leaves. So let me clear off all this mess and get back to you. So guys, here we go. We are done with the repotting. The plant is looking absolutely beautiful, and it is looking very pretty in the 7-inch pot. Now ideally some people tend to water their plants after repotting. I still wait for another day. Again, this depends upon the plant. Some plants tend to start getting droopy after repotting, so you can mist and water those plants. This one was very well hydrated. Apart from that, the roots were also very moist, so I do not need to be worried. I can wait for one day. I will let the plant rest in the new soil, and tomorrow I will do a watering. Now when I tend to do watering, I always tend to use old water. I do not use direct tap water, so that the plant can stay comfortable in the new pot. So I hope very soon this new leaf will also open up, provided that the climate and the environment is very pleasant. I'm sure it is going to put out a new leaf very soon. And guys, whatever soil is left over, like let's say from the previous pot, if you have any soil that is left over. Now of course my soil did not have any pests or did not have any bugs. So what I tend to do is I take the soil just for as a precaution. I put it in the tray and I put this soil out in afternoon direct sunlight for a day, maybe for 2 days, depending upon how much quantity of soil is there. I keep it out in afternoon direct sunlight. Whether there are bugs, there are no bugs, it's absolutely okay. It's better to sterile the soil. So I put it out in afternoon direct sunlight, where the sun can kind of heat up the soil a little bit, can make the soil warm. In case if there is anything in the soil, that will tend to die because of the heat of the sun. So never ever throw your old soil. You can always reuse it. Even if there are any bugs or pests in that, you can still put it out in afternoon sunlight. You can spray any organic solution that you have, or probably sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on that, and that will take care of it. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.